Real talk. You live for reality TV. Every time it gets crazy, gets juicy, gets dramatic, and completely irresistible. And lucky for you, Hulu on Disney Plus does too, with the most unhinged and unmatched library of shows, period. Turn on larger-than-life docusoaps like Season 4 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and the new hit series Love Thy Nader, featuring supermodel Brooks Nader and her sisters. Obsess over the seasons of iconic dating shows like Love Island UK and Farmer Wants a Wife. Get hooked on irresistible food competitions like MasterChef. Dive into hit game shows like Celebrity Family Feud and revel in show-stopping fashion competitions like the one and only Project Runway. Whatever it is you're into, Hulu has it all. No filler, no fluff, just thousands of episodes of the very best in reality TV. Every single day, because Hulu gets real. Stream now on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
My husband actually has a theory that men and women cannot be 100% platonic. He thinks either the man or the woman has at least 5%. If you think of from 0% to 100%, at least 5% of a, well, maybe thought. And I have debated this with him. And ultimately, I do think he actually, because I've had a lot of guy friends that it hasn't gone anywhere, but I think he might be right about that.
Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea.
What's up, cocktailers? Amanda, we have a lot to discuss.
Oh my gosh, so much. But first, we just want to say, first of all, hi guys. Hi, B.
Hi.
We want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the kinds of mothers. There are not just what you would think of traditionally, but there are so many people who act as second mothers or dog mothers or favorite aunts. And I feel this is a day to celebrate all of the maternal figures in our lives and to be celebrated.
And thinking of everybody who struggles for whatever reason on Mother's Day, whether you're trying to become a mom yourself or it's something you weren't able to do, or you've lost your mom, or you have a complicated relationship with your mom or your child, sending love to everybody, because I always feel as I get older, I think when you're younger, you don't recognize that about holidays, or at least I was fortunate not to. And as you get older, you realize that there's wonderful things about holidays, but they're also, it's really hard in other respects.
And all the things in your life that happen add layers to all of those days. Just any day can feel a little loaded if it's an anniversary or if you're missing
Not
your mom,
Cinco de Mayo, though.
etc.
Not Cinco de Mayo. I didn't even celebrate. Everyone was excited it was on a Tuesday because it's a Taco Tuesday. But me personally, and cocktailers know this, Tuesday's too early in the week for me to start drinking. Monday, Tuesday, I got to be on the ball. By Wednesday, I could entertain a glass of wine.
I'm not going to lie. I had 2 margaritas.
Yeah.
I don't usually go past 2 unless it's a week. If I'm drinking on a weeknight, definitely not. But even on weekends, it's usually about 2. And that's
because we have to function.
Because we are busy ladies.
I picture a time when my kids are older and we're not carpooling and dropping to school and all the things, and I'm retired. I do picture a time where I can just drink until whatever hour. But then I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully I'll be so relaxed I won't need it.
That's what I think. But I also I picture myself wanting to grab a glass of wine with my friends after pickleball when I am retired.
Yes.
That is
100.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I picture my retired life to be like that. Wake up, be active, whether it's going for a walk or hopefully I'll have some sort of activity, which I don't do pickleball, but like maybe I will. And or whatever's popular in a few years. And then I
definitely, I'm going to be a lady who lunches. I'm going to have a really nice lunch. I'm going to have a midday gin French 75. Like, I'm going to do it. And I'll want to be done drinking by 7.
Yeah, same. I'm more of an early to bed. And then later, like lately, I just want to be later to rise and earlier to bed.
Yes. These are goals. These are goals for 40-somethings.
Definitely.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, one of my friends lives near a building, like one of those apartment buildings that they're building for 55 plus. And I like looked at it and I was like, I'm actually not that far from being able to move in there.
Yeah, I'll have to see.
I'm far, but not that far. I'm closer than I am.
I feel like in Florida, even the ones that aren't 55 plus, my condo, it's because it's a lot of retirees. Although it has gotten younger, I feel like in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well,
but I digress.
I forgot to mention for those of you who might be interested either in giving this as a gift or getting this as a gift, we are running a Mother's Day flash sale for Cocktail Party. So and it's only the annual, but you can get the annual for $65 when our normal price is $80. So this is a really good price. And all you have to do is enter code MOM2026 to get that price. And we are extending it. I forget the end date, but it's going to go well past Mother's Day. So if you don't get what you wanted for Mother's Day, you can also buy it for yourself.
$65, you get the whole year, you get the whole shebang, and you don't have to wait to hear late tea. So I think it's a deal.
Definitely.
Ciara at the Met. Ciara at the Met, Ciara in a Old Navy commercial today with Paris Hilton, Rob from Traders, and Kathy freaking Hilton. Okay?
Iconic.
I got a little Met tea. I know we're all dying to talk Summer House, but I just wanted to share because, I don't know. The Met to me, I don't know a lot about it, but I learned so much through the DMs, and I love to share when I learn something that I don't think is common knowledge. So somebody told me, hey, B, my brother used to work at the Met. Employees are allowed special perks with events, and the Met was always a big one. Tickets were a lot of money, but a lot of them planned all year ongoing. So they'd save up because it was always a big night out for the Met staff. The Met employees would get tables together. It was a fun night. The outfits weren't as crazy as they are now. He said it all changed and got taken over. I assume they mean when Anna Wintour took it over, allegedly. Mm-hmm. The first thing they did was take away the employees being allowed to go. So they're not even allowed to buy the tickets anymore. They said the Met has a skeleton crew the day of the gala. They don't want the employees to cross paths with celebrities. They are out of sight. And most importantly, they're not allowed to enter the gala. He told me this 15 years ago. And every year, the Met has just gotten more and more obnoxious. And then somebody else says, it was never intended for it to be what it is now. It was for society and the arts, not Hollywood. And someone posted about how the party, that was the original post. So it was supposed to be for the society, the arts, the employees, not Hollywood. Somebody else sent me a message that said there was a party for the assistants and staff that was a couple of $100 to attend, and it was always a fun night, and often the celebrities. So originally the Met Gala was like for the assistants, for the staff, for people in the arts. It was like a few hundred to attend. It was a fun night, and then celebrities would end up going to the party
because it was more fun.
Yes, but when Anna took it over, it became this big to-do.
Do we know? I actually have wondered this and never even looked it up. Do we know? I know you get an invite, but obviously it's like being invited to any other gala. There is a monetary donation or ticket price. Do we know what that is?
Yes. I believe it's $100,000 for a single ticket. And I can't just be like, here's $100,000. I have to have the monies, and then Anna has to approve me. Most people sit at a fashion house table. So let's say I'm at Armani's table, and the table costs, I don't know, maybe $750,000, and then that person invites their people. So I would imagine the big fashion people buy a couple tables and invite celebs.
Wow, that is a spendy gala. I enjoyed the Met picks this year. I don't know, something felt different. I don't know if it's because the theme was, some people just didn't seem to really be going with the theme, and then some people went way too far with the theme. I don't know, but You mentioned Ciara, her look, her body is insane, but I was biting my nails worried that bottom part of her dress would fall off.
Do we
you know
think
what
she
I
was
mean?
trying to look like a comforter because she's a bed bug?
No, maybe. I just was like, how is that skirt part that is really the dress coming off? Is that attached to anything? Because there was the top of the bodice that came down over her crack, essentially.
Yeah,
and then
I don't know.
I was like, I just feel like anybody stepped on her skirt, she could have a real issue. I think Beyonce's look was my favorite. I liked Hailey Bieber too, but
Yes.
there were some good ones.
Rihanna's was weird.
I didn't understand it. I feel like it needs to be. I think if somebody explained it to me, then like
Everyone
and
is
Heidi Klum was way
scary.
too literal.
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, I don't know. The theme was just a little bit off. And actually,
And you're
who was
supposed
it
to be 18, but yet Anna let Beyonce's daughter go. And rumor has it there was some blind circulating, I think Crazy Days, Crazy Nights, or whatever, Enty, that Kim Kardashian was pissed because allegedly she was told no for her daughter, who's similar age, to go, yet Beyonce and Jay-Z took their daughter.
Yeah. Well,
A-list problems.
I kind of get it, though. How many Kardashians could they have fit in that party anyway? Sure. All right. Let's get back to our usual summer house. So much tea that we got this week. We shared in cocktail party. We were originally going to actually talk Atlanta and then Rhode Island first, but we're coming fresh off of last night's episode. So we're recording on a Wednesday this week. So there's we'll save some stuff for later, but first we have to kind of talk about the episode because there was so much. I don't even know where to start. What do you think?
I feel every week since we found out about Wes and Amanda hooking up or being fuck buddies, whatever their relationship is, Andy says to us viewers a day or two before, this is the worst episode yet.
Yeah.
You guys, you're in for it. And I think this truly was the worst episode yet. So I'm going to start with the beach. We saw Ciara at the end of last week's episode and the beginning of this week's episode speak to Amanda about physically separating, getting her own apartment for a short time. She even brought it up on her way out to the Hamptons with some of the other housemates and continue to date, but just physically separate themselves to see if they could get the spark back. So she brings this to Kyle's attention on the beach. And what do you think about considering a separation while dating each other? Kyle looks shocked. He asks Ciara if she had spoken to Amanda about it. I do think, and some of you guys said to me they felt like Ciara was overstepping her bounds, but I think it's a combination of things. First of all, I think that she was being considerate of Kyle's feelings when she spoke to him about it. And I think she really presented herself as neutral because even when Kyle said to her, I don't even know what she wants, Ciara agreed with him. She was, and I feel like I'm sure production said to her, somebody's got to drop this. But I also feel like Ciara spoke about it with Amanda on camera, and then she spoke about it with the other housemates. So if she didn't say something to Kyle, it would be wrong, right? So Kyle seems shocked when Ciara says, yes, I spoke to Amanda about it. She says she would do it, but she doesn't think you would. So I know you and I and cocktailers know that we feel they headed into this season separated. I don't believe they had separated apartments, but we know that their business has a couple units. So in any event, we believe
They
that
were sleeping in separate rooms.
Right.
The New York equivalent of the husband being in the basement.
Correct. It's very clear to anyone with eyeballs and ears that Amanda had checked out of the relationship. My feeling is Kyle and Amanda discussed it, and Kyle especially felt, let's not do it on Summer House. Let's save it for In the City. Do I think a part of Kyle was hoping they could salvage it throughout the summer? Yes. I think as summer went on, he realized that wasn't going to happen. Do we think Ciara knew that they were already separated?
Yes. So I have so many thoughts because
please.
I actually agree with the cocktailers who think Ciara overstepped with one big caveat. I think if somebody did that in real life, that would be absolutely shocking. Here's my thought. And I think Ciara, one of the cocktailers said this morning, Ciara is usually really good with boundaries. Again, I agree with that. I think 100% that Ciara knew and that Amanda and Ciara, perhaps, that this is the way they decided to bring it to camera to set up the situation for In the City, possibly even with a producer. I don't think the rest of the house knew that Amanda and Kyle were sleeping separated, but not. I don't even like using that word because I think they were literally just sleeping in separate rooms.
Until the
I also
fall.
don't think Kyle knew that Ciara knew because
Right.
or that
I
he
think
didn't know that
I
it was
think that was
gonna
part of his shock. Like,
yeah.
I think he was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, or he
Who
didn't know that it was
else and
going to
what
be brought up
else?
on camera that day because
Right.
yes, he did seem legitimately stunned. And you know that Kyle is legitimately stunned because he immediately goes quiet when he's always got a word to say otherwise.
Real talk. You live for reality TV. Every time it gets crazy, gets juicy, gets dramatic, and completely irresistible. And lucky for you, Hulu on Disney Plus does too, with the most unhinged and unmatched library of shows, period. Turn on larger-than-life docusoaps like Season 4 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and the hit new series Love Thy Mater, featuring superstar model Brooks Nader and her sisters. Obsess over the seasons of iconic dating shows like Love Island UK and Farmer Wants a Wife. Get hooked on irresistible food competitions like MasterChef. Dive into hit game shows like Celebrity Family Feud and revel in show-stopping fashion competitions, including the one and only Project Runway. Whatever it is you're into, Hulu has it all. No filler, no fluff. Just thousands of episodes in the very best in reality TV every single day, because Hulu gets real. Stream now on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Cocktailers, before I started Nutrafol, I wondered, would it work for me? I had heard such great things, but I was definitely skeptical. Well, I was so happy that my skepticism was not founded because within 3 months, I started finding baby hairs. Within 6 months, I had a whole new layer of hair growing in. And my crowning achievement, pun intended, right now, my hair is longer than it's been in probably 8 years. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested. Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code GOSSIP. That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code GOSSIP. They were living in separate maybe units or separate rooms that summer in New York City, but I don't think they were like officially separated. I don't think they were calling it necessarily a separation. Definitely weren't telling everybody because I don't think anybody else in the house knew.
Right.
And I agree with you. I think Kyle did think maybe we can turn it around. Maybe we can save it. And I think maybe there was a small part of Amanda who thought the same thing, because why go to couples therapy otherwise? That's if you're done, then you're not going to couples therapy. So maybe there was a part of both of them that maybe we can try to retrieve this marriage.
And so this set the tone for Kyle for the dinner. And I am in no way excusing his behavior. Do not mistake me. But he is now off kilter, right? So
yeah, definitely.
This threw him off kilter. Okay.
Definitely. And I think this is a really good lesson in, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to hold my point. But at the beach, Amanda is also talking to Mia and brings up to Mia that she doesn't fully trust West with Ciara's heart. That's not the exact words that she used, but after everything that happened with Ciara, Amanda said that she would die for Ciara and that she would cut off West immediately if Ciara even just gave her the look, if he hurt her again, period.
You know what I found interesting? And again, I have to say, as all of you guys, we say to each other on Discord, in the DMs, the caveat is we're all looking through this through a lens that is altered.
Right.
And I don't know if what I'm about to say I would feel if not, but it seemed to me that Mia was listening to Amanda, but it seemed like she wasn't convinced. It was like she was giving her a side eye.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was she just looking at it through a different lens?
Or not fully engaged in the conversation.
Was she just zoned out having a beach day and listening, which happens. Come on, we've all been there where our friend's telling us something and we're zoned out. So I saw the side eye. Also, it could have just been that it's not even that Mia was suspecting Amanda and West. I don't think she was. And if she was, I'm sure it was in the back of her head and she was saying, I'm crazy for even thinking this, like that kind of thing. But I could see Mia. Remember, Mia and Ciara are very good friends. Mia and Amanda likely have met before and they're friendly and Mia likes her. But Mia is getting to know her this summer. And we can all agree that Amanda's behavior has been quite bizarre this summer. And I think maybe Mia was just looking at her like, I get it, girl. You love Ciara so much. You're a better friend to her than I am. That may have been the side eye.
I thought it was something along those lines.
Because remember, Paige is gone. So Amanda and Ciara are the remaining bed bugs. Paige isn't there. Lindsay, while friends with everybody, she hasn't been there every weekend. She certainly was never a bed bug. But Mia is Ciara's real life friend. And if you take the West Amanda thing out of it, I think I would have looked at it like Amanda's trying to remain close with Ciara. And listen, we all have our female friendships, right? And we all have that dynamic where when I'm with my best friend from college and she's with her best friend from home, I'm friendly with her best friend from home and I like her and I assume she likes me, but it does throw off the dynamic because it's like she's my best friend and she's her best friend and we're best friends. So that's just I don't know if guys have that, honestly, but I know that most women, I think, experience that, right?
Yeah, so definitely.
I looked at it through that girl's girl lens as I do, but now I'm looking at it through, I think I would have looked at it through that girl's lens, but of course now I'm looking at it through you fucked her boyfriend.
How could all of us do, right? It's so hard not to. It was odd to me that Amanda brought this up in this way with Mia, that she first starts out by bringing up the drinks after Carl's soft bar lunch, that she called that a date with West and Ciara. But originally, I think, wasn't it Ben and his girlfriend were like, hey, West and Ciara, let's go out. But then it sounds like Mia was invited. It sounds like Jesse was invited. So then it became more of a group thing. And so I just thought it was strange that Amanda called that a date.
But see, if West and Amanda hadn't hooked up, it wouldn't be weird for Amanda to feel bad that she wasn't invited.
Totally.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you and Tracy were going out with a couple of other friends, you could totally innocently neglect to tell me, although I was standing in softball at the opening with you girls. So I would maybe feel some sort of way that I wasn't included. So it's like, again, if I was looking at it through a different lens, I would be like, all right, I get Amanda's point. She wasn't included and Mia and Jesse were. Right.
Yeah. She's like looking and I makes a joke. I didn't get a text. Totally normal. But then Amanda calling it a date, that was the part that I thought was weird. And that whole conversation, I'm just trying to figure out what Amanda's motivations were. Was she being jealous and trying to create issues with Ciara or throw up roadblocks for Ciara and Wes? I think it might have been a little more nuanced. And this is where I've been thinking about this since last night. This is where I've landed. I think Amanda was wrestling internally with feelings about West and love for Ciara. And almost as a result, going harder. And when I say wrestling internally with feelings about West, I don't mean that I think they had for sure hooked up or not. I just think something in her head was saying, I have feelings for him. And it almost made her go harder for Ciara than she normally would because she wasn't sure how to feel, and protecting Ciara feels like the right answer. So she went even harder towards that.
That makes sense.
I don't know. The whole thing, it felt like a gut punch. And I also, when I'm watching these shows now, I just think about what it would be like to be Ciara watching these.
Because no matter what anybody says, they're all watching. Come on.
So then that night, it's an action-packed day because Lindsay throws her the Last Supper dinner. It's her second year of freedom. There was a lot of really funny stuff. But she She tells the table, Kyle lost his, what did she say? He lost his wedding ring and he found his DJ career. And then, as Lindsay tends to do, really digs in on this topic with Kyle, pointing out that he doesn't make decisions with Amanda as a family, as a partner, as that he does things without her. And Lindsay she doesn't let up. And then other people at the table kind of join in, and then Kyle loses it. He explodes. He yells at Amanda, who had not said a word.
The only word she did say was she chimed in to say, oh yeah, he's going to Vegas, which then he had to explain, I'm going to have a manager. And well, somebody I think directly asked about the manager, but after the Vegas comment. So she did throw that in there.
And then yells about how she doesn't pull her weight and eventually screams, fuck you at her and saying, we're not in a partnership.
So here's my thing. Again, totally inappropriate. There's no excusing the behavior and the language and all of that. But this is further proof to me. So he was blindsided on the beach and wait a minute. So Ciara is bringing up separation. Was this an original idea, or does she know that Amanda and I are talking about separating in the fall and that being like a thing on our spinoff? And I don't mean that they're doing it for the spinoff. I just mean that they decided to time it that way. It made this most sense to get through the summer.
Yeah.
Was that an original idea? He likely didn't have a chance to talk to Amanda, or if he tried to, I'm sure Amanda walked by him, ignored him, how she does. And so he's spinning out. And this is, again, all further proof that they were, I don't even think we need proof because we can see that they're very disconnected, even if they were sleeping in the same bed, right? And Amanda, who didn't say a word, seemed satisfied as everybody was going in on him. She had that little smirk.
Yeah.
And he explodes almost, how are you letting me take this heat when you are talking about a separation behind my back with Ciara? You know that you're planning on getting an apartment, like all of these things. We also don't know if Amanda off camera said to Ciara, listen, I really do want to physically separate. Can you ask me that on camera? So these are all things that Kyle can't say.
Right.
And he even cites, at the reunion, when you said you wanted to have kids with somebody who wanted them, that isn't true. So I think he sees it like, I'm not perfect. I know I'm wrong. I know I make mistakes, but I don't air our stuff out in the way that you do.
Yeah.
We agree not to discuss things and then they come up on camera. That's what I'm saying.
And I think also Amanda expects me to make decisions. And I think he feels like the weight of the world is on him, his company, which is, I'm sure, part of what is their livelihood. And then the DJing, which I don't believe that he's only doing it to make money to keep them afloat, but I do believe that's part of it. And then he's probably, I need support in this. I need a partner that I can really talk to about this. And so he's feeling like he's getting none of the benefits of the partnership, but all of the responsibilities, which again,
and then the question becomes, but does he deserve that after the way he's treated her? And that's a whole other conversation, but his feelings are still valid.
Right.
And we also don't know the way that Lindsay said it at the dinner table. And the fact that Amanda didn't stop her or attempt to stop her leads me to believe, and I don't have proof of this, Ciara brought up the separation at the beach, likely okayed by Amanda. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Amanda and Lindsay spoke, and Amanda was like, yeah, are you going to play that game? Do me a favor. Talk about how he's doing this DJ partnership without ever discussing with me.
Yeah.
And Lindsay, it's twofold. Does Lindsay want to make good TV? Yes. Lindsay takes her job very seriously.
Yeah.
Does she know that the production will be happy with her if she makes this whole scene and she keeps going, even though she knows she should have stopped and stopped digging in? Yes. But it doesn't change the fact that Amanda likely gave her the go-ahead.
Yeah.
Or more so, even the idea to even bring it up. Lindsay's pretty self-centered. Somebody had to tell her to bring that up, and I'm sure it was Amanda. And maybe it was her, Amanda, and Ciara had a conversation like, listen, I brought up the separation. And then Amanda was like, Lindsay, let's play a game at dinner, and you bring up how he's going to go around the country DJing, and we didn't discuss it.
And this is the last weekend, right? So it's now or never time. They have to bring this stuff up if they want it to be on camera. And that's why this timing isn't lost on me. That's why these conversations are happening and the separation again, because they're setting up in the city. And Lindsay, originally that was supposed to be just her show. Now it's more of an ensemble show, but Lindsay more than anybody wants this to succeed because she knows like she's not going to be on Summer House every weekend like she's been because she can't, right?
And she wasn't this summer. I mean,
of course she wasn't because she.
But it also feels pre-planned because when Kyle says fuck you, as predicted, as they all guessed he would, Lindsay looks over at West and West says, I will. I stuck up for her last time when he said that. That's not okay. It is almost like Ciara, West, Lindsay, and Amanda had a conversation behind the back of Kyle and I think the rest of the table and almost pre-planned this because we've all watched Kyle for 10 years. We know what his reaction was going to be. We know how he felt when Ciara soft launched the separation. So he basically played right into their storyline.
Right.
And so West pulls his chair next to Amanda. Of course, nobody found it weird because Kyle was verbally aggressive and somebody needed to step in. And then West says to Kyle, speak to Lindsay and you're fine. Just don't speak to Amanda. And somebody said that, what did they call it? Oh.
Are you talking about Duper's Delight?
Yes.
Yes.
Duper's Delight. And I just have to say, in light of everything that has transpired,
we should define what that is, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
it just feels like more and more Amanda relishes in being the victim. So Duper's Delight is a psychological term coined by Dr. Paul Ekman to describe the thrill, pleasure, or smugness a manipulator feels when successfully deceiving someone and getting away with it. It often manifests as a tell, a subtle, involuntary smile, smirk, or laugh while lying. It stems from the adrenaline of risk, contempt for the victim, or arrogance. And so I do not believe that Lindsay and West and Ciara were in on duping Kyle. I think that they, number one, had a goal to make a great final episode, and number two, felt like it needed to be addressed after the entire summer of it, and Amanda gave them the go-ahead, and if anything, it was Amanda's idea.
Because she was too quiet. She was way too quiet. When there's a chance to dump on Kyle, she's usually right there too.
Right.
Yeah. Her face said it all to me. It was a smirk, a nod, a knowing smile. All of those just seemed very odd in that whole situation.
And I don't know if I'm Ciara and Kyle, because that was Kyle's wife, if I even care at this point if it was an emotional connection or a physical connection, because it ultimately became what it is.
Right. Yeah.
And somebody said to me, and I wanted to ask your opinion on this, somebody said to me, it seems like, because at the beginning of the episode, they were like, Amanda seems good. And Amanda seems good. She walked in the house complaining. They said it seemed like Amanda, to your point, was like wrestling with her feelings, but was like crushing on him. And they think that she went for it. And of course, Wes was like, hey, sure, why not? You're hot. I want to hook up with you. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll never really know, right? Because they're never going to be honest with the timeline. And nobody believes it was February.
I think Amanda has always seemed to have a soft spot for West. I think they were close as friends. And I think it did turn to more. My husband actually has a theory that men and women cannot be 100% platonic. He thinks either the man or the woman has at least 5%. If you think of from 0% to 100%, at least 5% of a, well, maybe thought. And I have debated this with him. And ultimately, I do think he actually, because I've had a lot of guy friends that it hasn't gone anywhere, but I think he might be right about that. So
but that doesn't make sense to me, because then it's one of the parties is a zero.
No, it doesn't add up to 100. I'm just saying, if you're like 100%,
you think both parties are 5%?
They could be. Like, both people could be 100%, and then they're definitely not platonic anymore. But there could be 5% of somebody who's maybe, and the other person might be.
But that's such a broad
zero.
thing, and it doesn't mean you'd act on it, right?
It doesn't mean you would.
Let's say you're completely happily married, right? Totally happily married, and you have a friend. As a woman, I'm going to speak. And you have a friend who's a wonderful person, attractive, totally nice. They're a colleague. You work with them.
Yeah.
Zero intention of having an affair, nothing. If you were in a different life circumstance, if they got divorced and you were widowed, could you end up together? Yeah, but like all those variables would have to change for that to happen. So It's almost like if people are in the same age wheelhouse, depending on how high or low you're willing to go with your age differential, and they're like somewhat attracted to each other, that could happen with anybody. That's like saying if my husband's attractive, You would say my husband's attractive. I would say your husband's attractive. If I drop dead and your husband dropped dead, yeah, maybe you and my husband would get together. But I don't know.
So my husband's theory is not is that a 5% chance that something would happen. It's 5% of them might have more than a platonic. There's on a 5%, 5 out of 100. Maybe there is something there. Because his whole thought is...
Well, any straight man would want to bang us, Amanda.
The man's mind. Yeah, I was just going to say
if the woman is attractive, I hate, and this is not from a place of being conceited, but I really feel like any straight guy, and even some gays, if you have a good friend who's a woman, you're her friend because you like her and you like her qualities, whatever those qualities are. And so unless you have an aversion to how she looks physically, which is rare because when you have a friend, they become attractive to you, even if they otherwise wouldn't. I think every guy friend I have ever had probably would have slept with me. That said yes.
My husband's point. That's
I don't mean that they would cheat on their wife or that they would do anything. I just mean that given the right circumstance, they like my personality and I'm attractive, so why wouldn't they? Is that conceited? I just have always felt that way.
No, but okay, so then you agree with my husband because I have debated with him about this. That
I can tell you that there's 0% of male friends you have that wouldn't sleep with you if they weren't married or if they're not married, if given the chance. How about that?
Okay.
So I'm with your husband.
Okay. So I think
it's different for women, though. I will tell you that because just because a guy's good looking doesn't necessarily mean I'm attracted to them or they're my type. I think men and women operate differently.
I agree. I totally agree.
There are guys who are like good looking from I would say, yes, they're handsome, but I wouldn't. There wouldn't be a circumstance where I would be attracted.
I think we should debate this on the podcast channel on Discord, guys, and get everyone's thoughts. Because I feel like I really do. I do have this debate with my husband quite a bit. And I think it's an interesting conversation because his whole point, I'm like, I've had a lot of good guy friends. He's like, Amanda, every single one of them has told you they were interested.
Yes.
I was like, well, we stayed friends. You weren't,
exactly and they point. Moved on and they got over it and they were able to be friends.
Right.
And some of them probably weren't and you didn't move on and you're not friends.
Okay, so, all right. Let's go back to this fight because Kyle goes outside, storms outside. Carl runs after him. He's yelling at him, trying to get him to calm down. I think his intention really is to just try to be there for Kyle and get him to calm down.
And Carl's also got his own anger with Carl's got his own anger with Kyle for the not investing and just a general feeling of lack of support. He didn't put Loverboy on the menu. That definitely sent a message. So there's that.
Yeah.
So where Carl may have backed him up, like, guys, back off. He wasn't willing to do that. He was like, you know what? Let him get roasted.
I think he was, And I do think that he chased after him to try to help. I don't think he was running out there to pile on.
No, I don't.
Yeah. We know that something devolved because we saw this before the scene even started. Like KJ is physically holding Carl back because things get physical between Carl and Kyle. So big cliffhanger, very intense, very shocking episode so far.
Yeah, listen, to summarize, it was a lot. I'm sure you've all seen it. We all are now looking at it through the lens of what's happened with Amanda and West hooking up. It's impossible to say how we would look at it otherwise. I think we would all agree, based on the last episode, that Amanda and Kyle were clearly headed to a separation. I think most would come to the conclusion that they had already decided, but only Ciara knew. Kyle may not have known Ciara knew, which is part of the reason his meltdown was so massive. Again, not excusing. I just want to keep saying that because, like we tell our kids, you're entitled to your feelings, but you're not entitled to behave any way you want because of them. And that fits Kyle very well.
You can have a great point, but have terrible delivery, which kind of cancels it out, which I think, unfortunately, is what happened with Kyle.
And Amanda's disposition at the table and the way it all seemingly was set up, it became a different animal. But I would like to bring up another thing that I noticed. Okay. Last night, and we're going to get to last night to the text, KJ was asked about Bailey and Carl. And because people have been teasing it. The two of them have been teasing it, Bailey and Carl. We saw them make out, but KJ just shut it down. He was like, nope, they're not a thing. They won't be a thing. I have to be honest with you. I don't see Carl wanting a relationship right now. Nothing about his behavior this season seems like he's looking for that. I think that he likes building friendships. It could be to do with his recovery. It could be that he's continuing to work on himself. He's focused on his business. It's certainly not Bailey, because to me, if he were interested, that would be the perfect person. She's even-tempered. He clearly gets along with her. She's a beautiful girl. She's interested in him. So I don't know what the it is with Carl. I do know that I was told he discussed in his book, because there have been rumors, and certainly they did not come from us because we would never out anybody. But people have speculated based on an early season when he shared something about a sexual encounter with a man that maybe he is gay. Apparently there's a section of his book where he shuts that down. And I just want to be clear, that's not what I'm saying here, because I don't. If I thought that, I wouldn't speak on it at all, because I wouldn't even suggest something that could potentially out somebody. What I'm saying is he just doesn't seem interested in a romantic relationship right now. He's not in that place.
Yeah, agree with you. I at first wanted to say Bailey looked so gorgeous in this last episode. I'd see her profile during the dinner fight and just think, wow, she is stunning.
Do you know what somebody said? Somebody said she reminded them of a young Erica Jane.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, like the big eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I agree. I don't think Carl does seem to be looking. Maybe he has something else going. Maybe he does have somebody that he's talking to who has no interest in being on camera, and Carl knows better than to talk about that. Maybe he's also just trying to keep himself focused on Soft Bar. It's the biggest thing he's done professionally in his life. Now would not be a ideal time to pick up.
It's interesting you say that about maybe he has something else going, because I do think that Carl, who's evolved so much, would likely seek a normie. I think that although I'm sure he thinks Bailey's wonderful, I think it would be a lot for him to have, because that brings stress. He knows that stress. He had the wildest relationship with the wildest reality star. So even a more even-tempered reality star is still a reality star. And I think there's probably a part of him. I would say if and when Carl is ready, I agree with you. I think it'll be somebody that doesn't want to be on camera.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so we have to talk a little bit about Watch What Happens Live. So Andy asked KJ, has Wes texted you? And because you had said before the reunion that Wes had not reached out. So KJ says, yes, he did. He texted me the day after. I haven't read it yet. I've been scared. And Andy says, hey, do you want to read it? So KJ takes out his phone, opens the text. He's, oh, it's long. So then they change the conversation for a minute so KJ can read it. The camera shows him reading it. And then he says, yeah, I'll read it. And here's what it said. So it said, hi, I just wanted to thank you for your articulation and kindness yesterday despite being hurt. I have been off socials and I think I lost touch with how much hurt there was. I am incredibly sorry. Also sending you love in regards to your mental health. You shared a lot yesterday, and I know it might not carry a lot of weight right now, but I am always rooting for the best for you. I know it will take some time, but whenever you feel like you're ready, lunch or a phone call would mean a lot in the spirit of healing. No need to respond. Take your time.
So first, telling a person of color that they articulated themselves well is a microaggression. That's first. In real time, you were on the text. Poor Amanda is behind, so she doesn't get to watch it when we do, but doesn't stop Tracy and I from
Yes, and I love it. I love it.
Tracy texted me and she was like, damn, that text made Wes look good. And my reaction was, yeah. And Wes did what Wes does. He manipulated, which is why he will survive this and Amanda won't, because he says the right thing whilst doing whatever the hell he wants. I don't think it was authentic. An authentic text would have come sometime before the reunion. I think he preys on people's emotions. I think we watched in real time when KJ read that. He did initially, he goes, oh, he felt some guilt. I think he'll shake it off as he processes it. I'm sure he didn't even initially see the part about you articulated yourself well. First of all, if you said that to me, it's a condescending comment, taking race out of it. What do you mean I articulated myself well? Why wouldn't I articulate myself well at a reunion? And who are you to judge the level of my articulation? It's almost like you're smarter than me.
Yeah.
I don't think you tell another adult you articulated yourself unless they're professor and it's a public speaking course.
Let me separate the two really quickly. We heard from a lot of cocktailers too who said using that word articulate is a microaggression. I agree with that, right? Because the implication is I agree with that. Separating this out though from what you're saying, if you and I are at the same reunion, I said that to you, it would sound like a backhanded compliment, essentially. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. Race out of this, right? We're just talking about, is that a rude thing to say to anybody? Because sometimes people do, especially in a reunion situation, have a hard time with cameras on them and everybody yelling. And I do think that, I think that
saying
necessarily
you handled
is a
yourself
backhanded
well,
compliment.
you got your point across is more appropriate than you articulated. It almost, I don't know, to me, it sounds like how an educator would speak to a student. I don't know, maybe
it does. There is a tone of condescension. I hear you and I agree with you. I did find it a little out of character that KJ read the text out loud because I was like, oh, is he really going to read that? I think KJ's really picking up pretty quickly what makes good reality TV.
Like we always say, nobody's on these shows because they're not messy. Even the best of them have mess or they're not good reality stars. Also yesterday, Amanda briefly posted to her stories a picture, and actually Reality Ops pointed out, and they did a reel and they pointed out, it's a picture of her from a while back. I think they said BravoCon because they looked it up. I guess they recognized the picture of Reality Ops, the Instagram account, and they looked into it. Yeah. So it's an old picture, and it was her smiling, a smug smile. I don't know. Could have just been a posy look. And she just wrote, but she took it down pretty quickly. I have to imagine that the feedback was very negative. To me, it just looked like entitlement. Okay, Ciara just came off the Met Ball, the whole thing. I'm not saying, and then the other side of it, the 30%ers, right? Because I said from the beginning, it'll be 70-30. And I think it's actually a little less than that. I think it's more like 80-20. Will be like, B, what do you expect her to do? Not post something antagonizing like boo.
Yeah.
Do you know, she could have posted a picture of herself and just posted a picture of herself. It was the word boo that felt like, here I am, gotcha. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely like I am the big bad whatever boo. That's kind of the way I took it. I don't know how Wes has been going back on podcasts, as we saw Mia posted a video last night saying, I'm a couple martinis in and I posting a video to Wes, which essentially she says, and this was like savage. She said, less podcasting equipment, more therapy, less podcasting equipment, more dentist because you're missing side teeth. Ouch. But Wes is trying to just get back out there and get back to normal. And I don't know, so many steps along the way, I feel like they've taken misstep in how they've handled this.
Oh, incredible misstep.
But is just trying to go back to normal, is that the way? I'm sure that's something they're talking about daily, is how do we try to get back to our normal lives? Because we saw just today, you shared on social media that South Moon Under, the swimsuit brand, while they still have the page of Amanda's swimsuits, there's no actual swimsuits to be able to buy. There's no link.
Down. Yeah.
I can imagine there's other brand deals that are just going away for her, and she's probably freaking out.
I also, and we do have some cocktail summer house tea that we might as well just get to because we're not going to have time to do Rhode Island and Atlanta.
I know.
But I do also, there was something about Wes' podcast clip, and I, of course, would never actually listen to the podcast. He just seemed pretty upbeat. He seemed, I got the reunion behind me and I'm proceeding with real life and this will go away. Also, he had the tragedy with his step grandmother that his cousin allegedly or is in jail because he's the person the police believe murdered the step grandma. The next day he was at a dodgeball game with one of his side chicks, ex-side chick, Shailene. Everybody handles grief differently. I'm pretty sure the obituary did say that the services, the memorial would be a little bit later. And he doesn't owe us anything to address it publicly. That's not what I'm saying. He just seemed quite upbeat on the pod. It seemed odd to me. But at this point, they're bitch who eat crackers to us, right? So nothing that West or Amanda can do at this moment is going to satisfy us or make us happy. And I can at least have enough insight to recognize that there's probably nothing Amanda could post that I would be like, that was good.
Yeah. No, I
You know?
agree, because they've just taken all of the wrong steps along the way. And it's compounded by the fact that every week we're watching the show back now, knowing what we know, and just seeing poor Ciara get manipulated.
Yeah.
Because ultimately that is exactly what happened.
Because whether it was intentional or not, it just feels, oh, this is the other thing. When they were at the dinner before Kyle had his meltdown, and because of the meltdown, I feel like this got overshadowed. Ciara was like, Wes said a nice thing about her. He was like, the best thing that I lost my voice last season, but this season I got back a friendship with somebody I really care about. And it was like a nice statement. But then Ciara's statement was like, the person I love the most in the world. It was like, bam.
Yeah.
And she went over and was like hugging him, and he seemed very lukewarm about it.
Because Amanda was right there.
And if we were looking at it without that, we may just be like, maybe he was just overwhelmed by it and he wasn't expecting it. But now, of course, it seems bad.
I agree. By the way, we posted on Cocktail Party that Dara and KJ moved in together. So got it from a source that they moved into a building together in Brooklyn.
So we know that they had some issues in November, although that post that we originally posted, some people read it to mean that she was just venting about a fight they had and they were still together, which may be the case. But in any event, we know that he had some mental health struggles. Clearly, they seem to be doing well. But a year would be August. We are in May. Do we think it's a little soon for them to move in together?
I don't think so. They're not getting married. They're moving in. Yes, it's a big step. But first of all, I like them together. But second of all, I think that people should move in before they get married. I think to go all the way to getting married, if you're not compatible day in, day out, you should learn that. So, and they seem quite serious about each other.
And as a New Yorker, I just would like to say it definitely makes more sense than paying too expensive rents.
100%. What about the other piece of tea that Sabrina was telling people? This is recently telling people that she and Ben are moving to Australia. Do we think this means they're not going to be on Summer House?
So here's my take on it. Clearly, they could back up that plan if they're asked back. But I think, first of all, Ben clearly lied about being in a relationship. I forget which Summer House person co-signed that when they were on. Maybe it was Bailey. But they were like, yeah, clearly he lied about being in a relationship. Jesse, which is even worse.
Yeah.
Because he's friends with them. Bravo does not like that. We hired you as a single guy. You hid your relationship. That's a no-no. And just realistically, they don't want two couples in the house. If they did, Andrea would have never left us. And Andrea was a much more fan favorite than Ben ever would be because we knew him for longer and he's Andrea. And if they were going to have two couples, because Amanda and Kyle are no longer a couple, they're going to choose Dara and KJ because, number one, Dara's already kind of like in.
Right.
But Ciara and KJ are such good friends that they're going to want to make Ciara happy. If Ciara agrees to return to Summer House, which, guys, I don't know. She's doing brand deals with Paris Hilton. So I don't know that she is going to. She may pull a page. She may say, now's my time to fly. But if she does choose to come back, they're going to choose Dara and KJ.
Yeah.
I also feel like there's more potential for drama because I don't really know Sabrina, so I shouldn't say that. But
I wonder if Ciara can even do the show fully and also do Dancing with the Stars, because don't they start rehearsing in August? And the show usually films until Labor Day. So they would fly her pro out. They would have studio space in the Hamptons. They'll make all that work. Yeah.
It doesn't start filming yet, I don't think.
I think the other thing is, and I know I am not alone in the fact that Sabrina annoys me. There's just something that bugs. I don't know. She's gorgeous, but if a lot of cocktailers I know feel the same way. And so that honestly could be a big part of it too, is that just viewer response hasn't been super great to her. And
I know what it is. It's the fact that every time she's on, tell them what you told me. Tell them what you told me.
Yeah. And then we see him not go out and go to bed early and be on the phone with his girlfriend, which is boring.
He's not setting himself up for success as far as
he's
being
not.
asked back. So
definitely
I don't think they will be back. I think they'll be moving to Australia. But the other thing is okay, maybe I'm just a cynical person. She's too, everything's wonderful. I feel on the spirit of people and all that. And whether that's authentically her or not, that's not a good vibe for a dramatic house. Mother Hubbard can't stay around forever. We need some girls. And Dara, to me, and I'm not saying I like Dara. I'm just saying Dara seems spicy. Look, Dara and Bailey and Levi are getting into it off camera. That's smart. I think that Levi saying all that stuff she said at the Page 6 virtual tea event is really smart, because guess what? Production's looking and production's going, okay, so Bailey and Levi have some beef with Dara. We need new beef.
Yeah.
We need new feuds. We need the girls to come in, have a disagreement, hopefully work it out and move on, right? Because that's what these shows need to do. But Dara's bringing that. Sabrina is not bringing that energy. They're not asking them back.
Yeah, I agree.
They do need strong female leads, though, because I don't know what the cast looks like. If Ciara doesn't come back, I would assume Mia does. I would assume Dara does.
Sabrina ain't it.
Sabrina is not. Lindsay can make appearances. Certainly Bailey. So you have Mia, Bailey, Dara. Those are three pretty strong leads. I don't know which way they go with Levi. They may throw her a bone depending on what they find in casting.
Yeah. She's been quiet, but that doesn't mean I don't rule her out.
I don't like Abby. She's never going to be the main event, but we like her.
Yeah. I don't really have a strong feeling about her one way or the other, honestly, which I think is probably
Bailey
a good
and Jesse?
situation.
Why didn't Bailey look to Jesse? Well, I guess Jesse was really hung up on Ciara. And that's another thing we saw the last episode. How he was like, I tried to date the wrong person. Is there a world that Ciara turns around and looks at Jesse in a new light? I certainly have. He's out here singing for cancer patients in the hospital, volunteering at the camp. Noticeably absent at the cancer camp was Amanda. And West was there.
Here's the thing I think about Jesse. So Jesse I'm lonely. I want to fill that void, and I'm looking for a relationship. I don't want to spend time dating anybody that I'm not serious about going to the next step with. These are things that he said over a couple of episodes. But last night when he was talking about being lonely and wanting to fill that void, I look over at my husband and I was like, I believe that he believes that, but I don't think that's true. I do believe that he thinks that he wants that. And this is going to sound like, of course I haven't asked him about it, but I don't think that his behavior is really changing that much from what we can see on the show and from what we know off the show. But I believe that he believes it. So maybe that's the first step to actually feeling that way.
Yeah. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time.
Bye.
What's up, cocktailers? We want to thank you, as always, for listening to Cocktails and Gossip. Because of you, we've hit some amazing milestones, had some hilarious conversations, and have grown a truly amazing community. If you haven't already followed our podcast, hit the follow button in the top right of your Apple Podcast player, the follow button under the show logo on Spotify, or the subscribe button on Google Podcasts. We thrive on you, our audience. So make sure to tell all your gossip-loving friends about us too. And if you want to get all the tea, join our membership cocktail party by going to bravoandcocktails.com/join. Our members get access to the exclusive tea we post, the weekly podcast without ads, plus another additional bonus podcast every week. And of course, members also get to join us on our monthly live cocktail party Zoom, where we talk about the latest tea and even share tea that's just too hot to put in writing. Last, but maybe best, our members get access to the Cocktail Party Discord, where you can chat with Amanda, me, and all of the other cocktailers as well. There are always some great convos and hilarious comments happening in Discord. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you.